So we're in Affinity, and I'm basically doing transcription of a PDF of the old Nibiru adventures into Affinity, but also in the frame of this sort of like Adventure Compendium that I'm meant to do. So you can see here in the left, the old PDF of the adventures is on the right, is open on the right. And yeah, just like transcribing, because when you import a PDF, I don't have the source files for these adventures because they were done like 7 or 8 years ago in InDesign, not even Affinity. And I only have the PDFs for the source files, so I imported them into Affinity. And if you've ever imported a PDF into Affinity, you'll see basically that like it turns every line into a fucking text box. It's so bad. So I'm transcribing, and I'm happy to transcribe because like it's fine. I actually prefer transcribing to copying and pasting and then perusing the text to try and find mistakes. And also I'm rewriting a lot of this stuff. I'm rewriting a lot of it because it's I've really changed as a writer, and my prose and style have changed a lot from the Nibiru times. So yeah, we're basically doing this first starting adventure foundations, and we've already laid out the start of it. It has this sort of like prologue about what the adventure is about. There's a little sidebar that answers a series of like basic questions about how the adventure transpires. And then we have like, you know, the first scene, which I've already laid out, where the players are so like, you know, they're meeting up with like contact that is meant to be so like in hiding, and he takes them to a small container house type shit that's like hidden, and is now showing them that his brother, who is working at a large development in the fancy part of town, sneaked out, like he stole like the blueprint from one of the ecologies that rich people are building, and he is sort of like hacking those blueprints, and he is going to change the blueprint so that there's a strange so like set of rooms hidden in those arcologies that only they can access to make a new hideout for vagabonds. So I'm so like, yeah, finishing this little monologue kind of bit where the NPC is explaining what he's doing. It's actually not the builder AI, it's a settler AI, and we have that formatted as like it's all caps when we're talking about AIs and automatons. So yeah, it finishes there, and now we go into this thing. Like it says, no Redfields, Redfields Consortium. It's a big development. A bunch of Silu, the cream of the crop, are fresh off the cuff from bleeding out Sudup2 and look to turn those credits into steel beams. Turns out my brother did it around at the site and got his hands on the blueprint for one of their fancier colleges. I spoke to him and was like, damn, I can actually fuck around with this and plug any my shit into the settler AI. You know what I'm saying? Little Danny Brown reference there. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I really changed how this was written. If you see like this is like, no Redfields is a big development where a bunch of bloodsuckers are getting together. I'm talking about the cream at the top of the credit complex, people who feed directly off of Penumbra's labor. Like this is so on the nose. It's so like cringe inducing. Like going back into it, like I'm too on the nose on like get it to the man type shit. So I'm changing that. I'm making it more less not less overt, because I like being direct on shit, but this is too like look at me now, dad type shit. I'm being anti-capitalist, and it's like nobody talks like this. He's not 15. this Ashaya NPC guy. So my brother managed to get a blueprint for one of our cute little arcologies. I had no idea why I wrote cute little arcologies. I just swapped that to fancy arcologies. This is too kooky. And it hadn't occurred to me how to use it until I was like, damn, I can actually fuck around with this and plug it into a builder AI. So it's settler AI actually. The settler AI, builder AI, like I didn't have the entry for builder AI back in the day, but now that we have Xanadu and the Xanadu content is getting ported into the new revisited edition of Nibiru, we have settler AI, which is the huge fuck automaton that builds stuff. We have it here. I can actually go fetch it. It's this thing, this gigantic thing. So I'm like, yeah, what the hell? Let's use this thing in the adventures. So it's settler AI. You get what I'm saying. And we go to the next page. We're flowing from these text box because I'm doing a thing with text box where I'm flowing within a single scene, and when I move to a new scene in the adventure, I stop the flow and start a new text box. I don't think you ever wanna flow like an entire adventure or even sometimes entire chapters if you don't have subdivisions, because you change something at some point at the top and it's going to fog your entire layout. So I'm using text flow between text boxes cautiously. So let's continue with this. It's like the Shaya will wait a moment and then continue. Let's see how this goes. Basically, I gave it my personal touch. A series of small habitation modules grafted into the larger body of the structure. Habitation modules that don't really look the part. I mean, I had some inspiration from my current living quarters, but are secure enough to access. I actually like the way it's worded here, because he's sort of like roasting his own current living quarters, which are really bad. They're like basically a tiny capsule hotel type shit. Modules grafted onto larger. I might actually not change this. A series of small habitations modules that don't actually look the part. Yeah. Past Fade made a good call, I think, with this. I mean, I had some inspiration from my current living arrangements. Arrangements. Whatever. The editor will pick that up. But that are secure enough to access from the district below. Why but? I'm gonna be like this. I had some information from my current living part. Secure enough to access from district below. Is this how this is done? Look the part. I'm not sure about this. Can't recall. Secure enough to access from district below. You won't even need to look at them. Smug motherfuckers when heading home. Since you can just enter through the backside of an old factory in the neck. Don't even gotta step into the district. It's as tight as it gets. What you think? Cool. I think that's okay. It's not a big rewrite. He will then have a chat with the characters about the location, the security, the way the modules subtly drain power from the ecology. It will state that the modules could fit up to 30 vagabonds comfortably, and that's actually cool if it's all the modules, not one module. And the whole project is miles away, better than any past attempts at securing safe haven for the Amnesiac king and ashore. Ishaya believes firmly in the plan and will end his presentation by asking the group to help him realize. I have a funny turn of phrase there. Let me start hacking at this. So he will then have a chat with the characters about the location, the security, the way the modules subtly drain power from the location, the security measures, the way the modules subtly drain power from the ecology, and the way this modules subtly drain power from the ecology. He will state that the modules, I don't want to repeat modules, that the compartments could fit up to 30 vagabonds comfortably, and that the whole project is miles away, is way better than any past attempts at securing safe haven. Yeah, I don't want to use miles because I can't recall if I use miles as a measuring, if I use that measuring system in the book. So I'd rather just like scrap it. Attempts at securing safe haven for amnesiacs. We're not using amnesiac kin. This is not a particularly ominous passage. In ashore. Ishaya believes firmly in the plan. Ishaya believes firmly in the plan and will end his presentation by asking the group to help him realize. So the turn of phrase that I wanted to kind of give here, sort of idea, so much so his smug explanation turns into a sort of lecture. Nah, this doesn't work. Believes firmly in the plan. I might just scrap this whole idea. And we'll end by asking the group to help him realize his vision. He promises that being the first people to live there, they'll have dibs on what modules they'll get. He promises not just a place in said vision, but also dibs on which modules they'll get. Yeah, that's fine, actually, I think. It will be pretty obvious that the PCs should help Ishaya. What a this is not good. It'll be pretty obvious that the PCs should help Ishaya. Designer nudging people to like do this shit. Though at the same time, they'll probably want to know what is it that they need to carry out the plan. He will explain that installing the blueprint isn't as simple. So the plan is sound. The plan is certainly sound, right? Though the PCs will autocorrect is like killing me with the PCs amendments, automatic amendments. Will need to know how to carry it out, right? Yeah. He will explain that installing the blueprint isn't a walk in the park. I'm not saying as simple as it sounds, because there's nothing here that's like particularly pointing at simplicity in the plan. Since a walk in the park, since building a set of housing modules will be noticed by those responsible for the construction. That actually doesn't make sense, because before I mentioned that the what's it called? That the modules don't really look the part. So the problem isn't that the people will realize that there's housing modules in the structure. Is probably getting it's actually getting the blueprint installed replaced into the settler AI. He will explain that installing the blueprint isn't a walk in the park, since the site is under constant surveillance. Yeah, that actually makes sense, and that's the final scene of the adventure. Cool. So yeah, polishing these like oversights on my part of back when I wrote this adventure. Here's the big twist. The leader of the Umanu, which I have to go fetch that term again, which I used somewhere here. Where did I got Umanu? Yeah, here. So Umanu is essentially a sort of like kind of like the managerial class of Entumbrel society, and there's a group of these people directing this project. The leader of the Umanu. So the Umanu at the helm of the project. Better yet, the Umanu helming the project. These are all the like being more direct in how you structure shit is like it took me so long to integrate that. in my writing. Here's the big twist. See, like it's a huge change. Like changing. Here's the big twist. The leader of the Umanu in charge of the projects happens to be like us. Here's the big twist. The Umanu helming the project is a vagabond. Yeah. Her name is Diana, and she will be the one we need to let in on the whole plan in order to pull it off. Right? The problem is she is likely not going to listen to me. Unlike me, she stayed away from ... problems. That is not good. Unlike me, she has managed to stay squeaky clean. I don't know how kooky the expression squeaky clean is. I don't know. Anglophones, let me know if squeaky clean is too much of a kooky expression. Unlike me, she has managed to stay. I'm not gonna be like clean AF. She's managed to stay squeaky clean. It has served her position well. So this is where you come in. I need you to arrange a meeting with her and to convince her to add the blueprint. The plans will speak by themselves when it comes to security. The plans will speak by themselves when it comes to security. I need you to arrange a meeting with her and to convince her to add the blueprint. To add the blueprint. Can I make this sound a bit more ominous? Convince her to allow our tiny modifications to take course. Yeah, that's fine. The plans will speak by themselves when it comes to security. That's a weird sentence. I don't think we need to have that there. Cool. If the PC's inquiry, so this is an instance that like stylistically, whenever there's an action that is with starting with caps and emboldened, that is basically asking for a role. And the role is linked to the action type cited. So the action type is inquiry. So if you would have a bonus to inquiry or to any sort of like, action types that are essentially synonyms to inquire, if you have a bonus or a malice, they would factor into this role. But in this case, if the PC's inquiry about those problems, what those problems? Oh, the problems. So this would be replaced with squeaky clean. Oh man, that means that squeaky clean as a thing has more weight. So if the PC's inquire. Inquire, is that how you spell it? To inquire. To inquire. Yep. If the PCs inquire about how he didn't remain squeaky clean, he'll state that the... Do they need to inquire about this? They're already pretty much... Like, is this role... do you need this role? Because, like, he already laid out, like, huge plans, you know, to them. He'll state that the Covenant is after him. He will not move into the module, since that would mean putting at risk the new community that will inhabit it. That's okay. I mean, maybe he isn't ready to reveal that the Covenant is after him, but to be honest, like, the Covenant is after all vagabonds, so yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the problems are not just the Covenant. Maybe, right, maybe it's not just the Covenant. It's also he probably had issues with Diana, because Diana afterwards, basically, she is meant to accept the proposition as long as the vagabonds get rid of Ishaya. So I should build in the reasons why she wants to outright get rid of this engineer guy, and of course that's gonna be an issue that is even deeper than just the Covenant going after him. So he'll state that that the Covenant is after him, and that he once almost got Diana captured. Now, one thing that could happen after this is maybe Diana will reveal that not only he almost got Diana captured, but maybe he got Diana's partner captured, which will give them even more of a reason to side with Diana, because I always felt like the siding with Diana in this adventure was a bit pulling at the hairs of the whole thing. Like it's like, sure, we need to work with Diana to get the blueprints in it, but to actually go and dispatch the guy is really dramatic. Like, this guy is really, you know, helping out with like he's basically trying to redeem himself by building these hidden compartments in the archaeology. So yeah, I think that's I'm gonna actually make a note. Let's make a note so that I don't forget when I write it down. Ishaya, oh my god. For some reason, like it's a new text box sets my type size to like 1. It's tiny for some reason. Diana got, oh, and me not using Affinity Publisher's latest version also makes it so that there's lots of little annoying quirks, like my spacebar not working from time to time. So Diana may not have been captured after Eshaya's doings, but her partner certainly did, which has done more than enough for Diana's murderous intentions towards Eshaya. Cool. Yeah. Because if not, I'm gonna forget about this, or maybe not. But you know, it's better to have that written down. You know, it's one thing I wanna say also is like, I'm writing on the layout program. I know that there's a lot of annoying motherfuckers being like, you shouldn't write in your layout program, and it's like, dude, like, just write wherever the fuck it's better for you. Like, I am a graphic person. I need to see the thing as it takes shape, for me to be able to really focus on the work of writing. So yeah, when I get this to my editor, I will have to copy and paste this into a word processor, and then once the edits are done, I will copy and paste them back into Affinity Publisher. And I know that's a lot of work, but for the work that is happening right now, this is essentially how my brain works better. So yeah, little sidebar on that shit. So and that he once almost got Diana captured. He will not move into the modules, since that would mean putting at risk the new community that will inhabit them. Whoop. Yep, that sounds good. He says he understands that the vetting process for new inhabitants, I don't want to repeat a vector of the word inhabit. New residents, for new residents will need to be strict, not rigorous. Something that he plans, that he encourages the group to handle later on if they are willing. Yeah, this is just badly written. There's a word missing there. So we're gonna finish. Oh, this is gonna finish like very neatly in this column, which is, I love that. However, we will have to move this down because of how I am formatting these columns. I'm doing so that the subtitles, like the first sentence after the subtitle, sets the start of the following column if it starts with text block right here. So this will have to move down now. But we'll see how this fits. We're going to shift into our orange text, which is special notes for the narrator. A lot can be said about, again, the space thing, the space bar thing. See, I'm clicking and yeah, there we go. A lot can be said about Eshaya's position, but it should be clear that the next step is to take the blueprint and show it to Diana. Make sure the PCs have that clear and proceed. PCs. So a lot can be said about Ishaya's position, but it should be clear the next step is to take the blueprint and show it to Diana. So while there may be lingering questions about Ishaya's position, that's actually much better because this is doing nothing. A lot can be said about Ishaya's position. Then why aren't you saying it? It's much better to say, well, there may be lingering questions about Ishaya's position, because this is calling directly to the fact that, oh, he didn't tell the full story. This is the full story, which they'll get from Diana. It should, like, if they succeed at the Inquirer role, it should leave them with questions about what's it called? About Ishaya's reputation, should I say? I don't know. Well, there might be lingering questions about Ishaya's position. It should be clear that the next step is to take the blueprint and show it to Diana. Step is to float the plan. Yeah, to float the plan to Diana. Make sure the PCs have that clear and proceed. I'm basically repeating myself by saying make sure the PCs have that clear and proceed with the next scene. I just said it should be clear that the next step is to float the plan to Diana. And obviously you're going to proceed with the next scene. So we're going to leave that there, and it's going to give us a little bit of a margin here because this will come down now a little bit further up. Yep, and then we're going to copy and paste this format. This is how it's going to start. The next scene, which starts here with this new text box. We're not floating this. So the way I arranged this, this is scene 2, the long game. Long game. These titles are actually fine. Living the Dream is a nice, you know, sarcastic picture we're painting by going into like a big description of how shitty the habitational modules are, where this whole conversation and laying out of plans happen. This should align to this thing. I know I should be using the alignment, the guidelines thing, the invisible guidelines thing, but I don't. I'm very lazy. However, I'm not a big fan of how this is looking. Like this sentence looks like it's floating there. There might be a way to edit this down so that we sneak that up. In fact, I have some space to play with here if I move this up a bit, because I'm very liberal with the use of these columns and not married to like these guidelines, this column guidelines that you see here. I can move it up and down. I don't get enough space, I think, though, because I need to give space to that there, and I am running short on space above. Am I though? This is very close to the edge there, and this, I would rather have this be 3 dots if it's going into the next page. I might edit this down. Squeezing past the hatch, the characters the PCs will enter a vertical container repurposed as a transient refuge. A second floor has been bolted into the walls, and the place is lit by the spectral glow of fungi. Its light reveals Ashia's sleep cushion, surrounded by cables that dip into a buzzing converter. Any character with a knack for engineering will be caught off guard by this arrangement. By it. The converter is drawing power from the fungi below, an expert display of ingenuity in bioelectric engineering, hinting at Ashia's technical know-how. Yeah, that's much better. That fits much better, and this is actually going to put it... Yeah, it'll fit better. Yeah, I like that. Scene 2, the long game. This is fitting in a much more neat way than the original, by the way. Like the fact that we're starting the scenes... This subtitles of the scenes at the top of columns is really nice. I hope we can maintain that throughout the layout. I'm not too bothered if we can't, but yeah, I like that. When Ashia raises a sight, no. So the crude sight of scaffolding draped, scaffold clad. Can we say scaffold clad instead of scaffolding clad? Is scaffold interchangeable with that? So scaffold. Yeah, it isn't interchangeable. Scaffold clad, because scaffolding clad is such an unwieldy construct. Monsters to the side contrasts sharply with the future food fair, the FFF, where the PCs let's meet up at the FFF, bro. Have you checked out the FFF? The PCs, oh no, coma, it's gonna, oh, I hate this fucking autocorrect, find themselves after leaving. The computer insists they have a better point in writing than I do. After leaving Ashia's hideout, the computer insists that they're right and I'm wrong. Even after several, insinuations that they're not. A cavalcade of travelers. Hauling fungi of a myriad, I love the word myriad, of a myriad different species, because also you don't have to say a myriad of, the fact that you can just cut to the thing you're referring to as myriad is really fucking cool, of the word myriad. I love it. Of a myriad different species march amidst glimmering stalls, all to give the populace a glimpse into the varieties soon to flood the red fields arcologies. Yeah, I like that. It's like one of those big PR events for the real estate project. So what about this narrator? What about this paragraph? Let's see what this paragraph is doing. So it says, this is a good moment to paint the stark contrast between the cluttered hive-like passages of the neck and the open comma and the open spaces of the red fields district. This sort of contrast will help give character to the city, making it feel complex and multifaceted. I don't know, guys. This is a good moment to paint the stark contrast between the cluttered, hive-like passages of the neck and the open spaces of the red fields district. This sort of contrast will help give character to the city, making it feel complex and multifaceted. I mean, it makes sense. This is a good moment to paint the stark contrast between the cluttered, hive-like passages of the neck and the open spaces of the red fields district. That's fine. I imagine the narrator will be like something like, unlike the place you were crammed into before, this is squeaky clean. It's very open. It's very breathable. The air is cooler. My problem is that I wish I would rather like actually say this stuff. I don't need to explain that this is giving contrast. I already said that it's painting a stark contrast. They'll notice the change in airflow, the cleanliness, and the whole PR operation. The whole PR operation. PR operation, no. I don't like the word operation. And the whole PR, the airflow is good, the cleanliness, on the whole PR aesthetic of it. PR event aesthetic of it. Yeah, that's current. That sounds good. Does this work? Yeah. This is a good moment to paint the stark contrast between the cluttered, hive-like passage of the neck and the open space of the redful district. They'll notice the change in airflow, the cleanliness, and the whole PR event aesthetic of it. Yeah, that's fine for me. I don't know if it has to be in this color, but to be honest, like having this contrasting color thingies, even if this isn't particularly different in how it's used as text from this, yeah, it works. So switch back to black, and as the group makes way through, oh my god, it gets me every time. As the group makes way through the fair, I'm fortunate that I'm not the kind of like writer that can actually type without looking, because I'm actually not looking. I'm not looking either at the keyboard nor at the Adventure Compendium thing. I'm looking at the old PDF. So if I just like stayed for 5 minutes writing without looking back, without having to look back, that space thing would fuck me up. As a group makes way through the fair, towards the building where Diana works, they'll be approached by an activist by the name of Nis. Who Nis, I can actually go, I don't need to be like, they will state. I can directly just be, do the quote. Hey there! I'm Nis. Why would they introduce themselves? Like people that approach you with like, can you donate $5 for UNESCO World Heritage Sites or whatever? They don't do this. I'm campaigning. Hey there. Hey there. Did you know that? Do you care about knowing why? I'm Nis. I'm campaigning for the NASPAR to block resource and worker allocation for the fair. Do you care about knowing why? No activist would speak like this. What was I thinking when writing this? Yeah, it's like, hey there. Did you know that the Redfields conglomerate is building these arcologies. This whole thing has to change. Arcologies on the back of NSU labor. Oh my god, I need to fetch NSU. Do I have an SU here? So what I'm fetching now is the Nibiru terms that have strange symbols tacked onto them. I don't know how to write them with the keyboard, so I just go and copy and paste them. Boop, 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 boop. Let's find NSU. NSU is everywhere. So let's see if we can find an instance of the word NSU. The NSU are the inhabitants of Penumbra, for those that are not familiar with Nibiru background. Let's see. I have pretty much the core book done, so we have everything to go and fetch the things. We got the whole material to go and fetch the stuff. But let's see. If I go to the Penumbra chapter, it'll be full of calls to NSU in any case. So yeah, here I should find instances of that. There's probably a Control F type shit that I can do. NSU. Oh look, there's all of the ones that don't have the symbol. That's very useful. Yeah. I will need to replace those afterwards, but yeah, NSU without the thing. What about NSU? No, this is a shore. I don't want to be in a shore. I want to be in Penumbra. The first part of the Penumbra chapter has to have NSU in it, even in like a title or something like that. Yeah, here it is. See, it has two weird symbols. On the back of NSU, italics, labor. exploitation. This fair is a sham, sir. The FFF. Why are you and the gals chilling and having your pumpkin spice lattes at the FFF? This fair is a sham. It'd be very funny to live this in all caps. This fair is a sham. Would you like to know more? I don't want to paint this sort of like heckling activists as particularly annoying, but it's just very funny that this is someone shouting this at actual refugees. You know, that's what the vagabonds are. Like, it's not meant to dunk on them, and actually this is much more this is actually much more neutral in its depiction than this. This is just shitty. But also, I was 23 when I wrote this. I'm 10 years older now. So yeah. This fair is a sham. Would you like to know more? I think that turn of phrase is very funny. Yeah, I'm not gonna add the exclamation sign. That actually makes it ridiculous. Cool. Next page in our PDF. Oh, we have a small sidebar. Plugging a small sidebar. Gonna take a small sidebar from here, copy the formatting. Doop, 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 doop. We are going back here and we're going to cut the text box, plug the sidebar, and be like the Redfields conglomerate. Yeah. So this doesn't have any emboldened or weird color shit. The new social class of the Silu, born from the imbalance brought by the Credit Society, has in the Redfields district of Asher, core book, page, we can actually, because we have our core book finished, we can actually go and fetch the actual page instead of putting a placeholder, thank God. Redfields is, let's see, the Palace District. Where's Redfields? The Old City, the Neck, the Little Sisters. Redfields is number 4. So Gateways 1. Redfields, it should be. This is page 98. Like this has changed so much from 36 to 98. Page 98. One of its largest bastions of power. Lately, they've been trying to present themselves as a boon, because this is not a market economy, so I need to cut down on the use of market as an analogy to the spread of something, as a thing that's meant to talk about spreading something. So present themselves as a boon to local communities. For the same reason I say local communities instead of like say local businesses or something like that, because it's not a market economy. In an effort to counteract the outcry from penumbric free councils, we can actually cut the D in this thing. We need more space. We're switching to an M dash because we already had a comma. Who have been trying to expose Silu, expose this Silu, those exploitative practices. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I don't know. Might amend it later, but yeah, that works. I'm moving this down. I'm probably going to move this to the next page to have it as a reminder there. We are flowing this text box here. Give me my guides for a second. I want to see them. Yes, this needs, I'm moving this a bit, yeah, to the center, there we go. Cool. And I'm taking that to the end. Cool. Would you like to know more? If they decline, Nis will take a step back and thank them. But if they accept, they will show the PCs a series of, they will show the PCs a series of protests in penumbra, recorded and transmitted via their mat, whilst telling them that the Silu are in collusion. No, that, let's get the Silu. So let's talk about Redfields directly. That the Redfields conglomerate, because we already stated that Redfields conglomerate is Silu, so we don't need to state it again. That the Redfields conglomerate are in collusion with the collusion. Is collusion an actual word? Because I think I got that from Spanish. Collusion. Yep, a secret, deceitful agreement between two or more parties to limit open competition, defraud a third party, or achieve an illegal objective. Yep, that's fine. If like, you know, English is your second language there, and especially if you're coming, I don't know if especially, but it's a thing with us whose main language is a Romance language. There's so many really cool words that we can basically port over. They're obscure, but a lot of them sound really fucking cool. But you always have to sort of like check that the Spanglish shit that you're trying to pull off actually means what it means. I had an instance of this before where I swapped the term, it wasn't inquiry to inquire, it was to I swapped this stay alert role for the word deduce, which I really like. Deduce. I got it from deducir, which means basically to inquire in a sort of like detective-esque manner. And I didn't know if it had the same meaning in English. So yeah, it's going back. Let's see. The red fields conglomerate are in collusion with the Way Watchers to block local food production ad absurdum. Production. Production. NIS says that they are going to take donations. It's obvious that it's food because I've just mentioned a lack of food. Going to take donations in 3 lapses to take to Penumbra. And he will give the PCs a sticker. Have yourself a sticker with the address and time of drop-off. All the while deeply thanking them for their time. So I've recorded protests in Penumbra, transmitted via their mat. Yep. Cool. Another narrator bit. These short intersections help bring the political themes of Antumbra to the forefront. Even if your game isn't particularly focused on the struggle described above, it's great to show how inescapable political conflict is when inhabiting the skin of marginalized groups such as that of the Vagabonds. I completely agree with this, with Pass Fede on this extract. So I'm probably going to copy almost verbatim these shorty intersections help bring the political theming. Themes, I'm not gonna bother in looking up how to write theming of Antumbra to the forefront. Plus it's a bit pretentious. Even if your game isn't particularly, I don't like that this breaks. Isn't there a way to make it all fit? Did you know that the red fields conglomerate, sometimes I'll cheat by doing this. Dupe. Like, it's just a little bit there that saves me some space. Is building these arcologies on the back on NSU exploitation. This fair is a sham. Would you like to know more? Yes, man. I'm pulling this up. Nope. Whoop. my mouse is playing tricks on me. Even if your game isn't particularly focused on the struggles described above, it's great to show how inescapable political conflict is when inhabiting the skin of marginalized groups such as that of the vagabonds. I think Foundation is probably one of the best written adventures I've done. It's certainly better than Boiling Point. I don't think I'm a good adventure writer, but within the efforts taken, I think it's the one that is most that's been more successful. It has a really cool ending, by the way. I'll probably not stream the ending because I don't want it to be spoiled. Not that spoilers are a big part of, like, you know, why it's good. Something that's ruined by it being spoiled, but I don't know. When inhabiting the skin of marginalized groups such as that of the vagabonds. I would like to actually not have this break here. This is too small. If they decline, this will take a step back and thank them. But if they accept otherwise, nice. They will show the PCs a series of recorded protests in penumbra, transmitted via their mat, whilst telling them the red feels conglomerate, blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't want to touch the thing above. I don't want to cut more of that. I can make some extra space for this sidebar though. Some extra space there, some extra space here. Yeah, that's more neat. Again, I'm not bothered by, you know, fixing to those columns. This did end up a little bit too close to the top. Yeah, taking this down. So are the lines. Cool. So if I continue, we go, if the PCs stay alert, they will note that the Weight Watchers are more active here than the next. Most calls to actions have been to the entire group, and I might wanna, I wanna change that. So there's something that I've done with, what's it called? With Watershed, which is to call to the attention of particular players that might be tuning out or something like that. Now, how to do this? How do I word this? Because I don't want to make it so that a player that doesn't want to engage actually gets engaged. But at the same time, you know, you're there to play, so. At this moment, the player, the character whose player has participated the least so far may may inquire may observe may observe. Is it observe? Is the action type observe? Because there's a thing that I'm noting when I'm writing these adventures, rewriting these adventures actually, and writing new ones too. Is that the MBTR, the means-based task resolution system that we're using for this new edition, you can do shit that's more passive and less overt, like perception tests and observe type shit and assess type shit, but you do want to be more, you want to err on the more overt type of actions. So I want to rework this into something that is not stay alert, maybe not observe, maybe it says they will note that the Weight Watchers are more active here than in the neck, which is likely due to the conglomerate fearing violent reprisal from the NSU community. The patrols move along as the polished, pristine street morphs into a small square and past the steelweed fountain a wide building stands. There's we need a comma here. Seemingly made from refurbished hauler tankers. I really like this this part. I actually really like the way this is described. But I don't like the stay alert thing, and I maybe don't like the observed action type. They may we might use observe as a placeholder, because I can't think of another way of writing this. There certainly is, but I can't pull it off in this point. Participate the least so far. May observe. This is I really like this records, by the way. Just telling the narrator to be like, hey, check in on the people that are getting less of a spotlight, if someone is huddling the spotlight and stuff like that. May observe. It's good to have one or two of these instances laid out in the pre-made adventures, I think. My opinion. You might disagree. At this moment, the character whose player has participated least so far may observe that the Weight Watchers are more active here than in the neck, are considerably more present. I think that's a more elegant way of putting that, here than in the neck. This is likely due to the conglomerate fearing fancy folk the powerful fancy the sight of police especially when neighboring NSU communities. Oh my god, we gotta get the NSU word again. Where did we use the word NSU? We did that in the last page. Here. NSU, non-italics, communities. Patrols pace the polished streets, the polished walkways, because I'm picturing this being more of a walkway than a street, kind of like the what's it called, the privilege of gated communities, the fact that everything is walkable and shit. Polished walkways. Which morph into a small central square. If all the walkways are morphing, they would morph into something central. So it wouldn't make sense to just write small square, I think, without pointing at its centrality, in my opinion. And past the steel weave fountain, a white building stands out. Its carapace hiding seemingly made from refurbished hauler tankers. Refurbished hauler tankers do not really give posh aesthetic to me, unless I'm thinking back to you know how there's the container houses, and at some point container houses were hip, and you had all of these videos of like my mini my cozy tiny living container house type shit, 10 million views with a super, like, filmed in a super expensive camera, and with like super expensive appliances. How do I make refurbished hauler tankers posh? Seemingly made from refurbished hauler tankers. Wait. So white building stands out. Clearly made of refurbished hauler tankers. Made of refurbished hauler tankers, which were weirdly in fashion among the more weirdly trending in Silu circles as of the past few lapses. Is as of the past few lapses, that's a bit of a, yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. I don't think that works. Trending in Silu circles as of recently. As of late, what am I saying? As of late, I don't want this to end there. Which were weirdly trending, which were weirdly trending in Silu circles as of late. Made of refurbished hauler tankers. Patrols pace the polished walkways, which morph into a small central square, and past the steel weave fountain, a white building stands, made of refurbished hauler tankers, which were weirdly trending in Scylla circles as of late. Where can I get the character whose player has participated the least? I want to use the word participated, I can't cut that. So far, may observe that the Way Watchers are considerably are much more present. There we go, that's fixed. Are much more present here than in the neck. The powerful fancy the sight of police, especially when neighboring NSU communities. Patrols pace the polished walkways, which morph into a small central square and past a steel-wood fountain. A white building stands made of refurbished hauler tankers, which were weirdly trending in stands made of refurbished hauler tankers. M dash, which were weirdly trending in silver circles as of late. That's a better placement of the M dash. Are there too many commas in this sentence? Patrols pace the polished walkways, which morph into a small central square. And past the steel-wood fountain, I can do this here. And past the steel-wood fountain, a white building stands made of refurbished hauler tankers, which were weirdly trending in silver circles as of late. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I'm okay with this. Oh my god, it's not over. I didn't do the whole thing. I'm going to break this paragraph. This is a good place to break it. Upon entering the building, a service word caps on all AIs. A service AI approaches the group and offers help. It will lead them to Diana's office, a circular room with a long, thin glass table. A long, thin glass table. There's nothing attractive about this. Sculpted with a stretched, sculpted glass table. That feels way weirder to me. Yeah, I like that. And large and ceiling high windows. Are they called ceiling high? The windows that basically occupy the whole wall. Wall height windows, ceiling high windows. Let me look at that. Look for that up in Google. Ceiling height windows. No, it's wall sized. Wall height windows. Wall height windows. High ceiling window design. No, that's a Pinterest thing. Window height. Floor to ceiling windows. Yeah, that's from Pella Windows, which is a window manufacturer. I'm gonna use that. Floor to ceiling windows. And floor to ceiling windows is much clearer also for anyone that might not be an English native. It's more clear to me. And floor to ceiling windows overlooking two of the main construction sites. Diana is sipping coffee and leaning against a gray metal beam. Whilst looking outside. I don't need to write, she'll say, because if I do the quotes here, it'll be obvious, past fede. You don't need to do this. Normally, I don't. It's also, it has more impact it makes it more dramatic, I think, when you cut straight to the quote. I don't want this here though, so I'm going to edit this. Upon entering the building, a service AI approaches the group. Period. That's done. Normally, I don't take visitors without an appointment, but I happen to not be super busy at the moment. I'm Diana. Can I actually, she's corporate. She can just say Diana. Can I help you? Can I help you with anything? Okay, so let's see. This is where we're about to have to fit this bit, where it is clear that Ishaya, the person who asked them to go to Diana with the plan to insert these living compartments into the settler AI blueprint thing, to build the secret compartments into the ecology. That guy didn't tell the whole picture, and actually the reason why he's sending them instead of going himself to speak to Diana is because he once did something that almost got Diana captured. Diana is also a vagabond, by the way, captured by Enki's Covenant, but he got her partner captured. And that's a part of the story that even if the vagabonds managed to inquire more with their role when talking to Ishaya, that's a part of the story that Ishaya didn't tell. So we need to add this, which I wrote down here, to the story, to the text as it's presented here and as we're transcribing it. So it is, however it is that the dialogue develops, let's see how did I write this? Develops, Diana will mostly focus on asking questions to the PCs and trying to extract information. Oh my god, stop it. Oh, I hate this. Trying to extract, to take more than she gives, then she'll give. By catching her social cues, the PCs will get that she's understanding of the importance of the matter, preferring to get the whole picture before saying yes or no. Catching social cues. How does that fit MBTR? We have done perception roles and observation roles and other understated type of actions in our playtesting of MBTR. I am trying to recall if we did stuff like catching social cues. It might be worded better in a different way. By catching her social cues, the PCs will get that she's understanding of the importance of the matter. How do you catch social cues? So, for the what's it called? Let's go to revisited. For the shepherd. For the shepherd, you catch social cues by going to someone that you think is You don't need to do this, of course, but a classic one is the what do your elf eyes see in terms of social cues? Going to someone that's better than you or an authority, or you consider an authority in, reading people and asking, yo, what is she saying? Which might actually be proved to be really inconvenient in this situation. But of course, you can also like channel the shepherd by recalling something an authority on catching social cues once told you. There's many ways of playing the MBTR thing, and as usual, I'm going to try and make this fit as best as I can, but also I don't want to like panic too much over what I think the players like over what I think the players will or will not be able to do. You always should like have in mind that players are very resourceful. Players are very intelligent. They will always find a way to get the system to do what they want, which is what you want in the end. So by catching her social cues, I like how social cues as an action type fits into the prose of this paragraph. So by catching her social cues, the PCs will get that she's understanding of the importance of the matter, preferring to get the whole picture before saying yes or no. Yeah, I like that thing. I actually might take this chance to not make it again a general role and point to a particular player. The player whose character has been the most silent so far may catch her social cues. Yeah, let's leave it at that. I don't want to overcomplicate this. Cues. The PCs. I'm gonna fetch this autocorrect thing. Where the fuck is the autocorrect thing? Settings. Assistant. Painting with no layer. Other brushes. Brush tool. Applying blah blah blah. Linked surface. Autocorrect. Oh my god, here it is. P O O P Q What the fuck? Replace text while typing. What if I do that? PCs. Oh my god. It's still doing it. Automatically correct two initial consecutive capitals. This is what I don't want. PCs. There we go. Yes. Fixed. Her social cues. The player whose character has been the most silent so far may catch her social cues. And they will come to, and they will see that she is understanding, that she is earnestly understanding of the importance of the matter, but that she is trying to assess, to get the whole picture before giving an opinion. No, before forming an opinion. Yeah? Yeah, that sounds good. How much is left in this scene? Oh, not much. Cool. So I'm pacing through this. No mention of Ishaya so far. It is on this quote that Ishaya comes into the fold. Okay, cool. So we can move this over because it'll come into action in a few paragraphs time. Next up is this orange paragraph. So at first glance, I wonder if that is actually a quirk or if there's something in the settings that is fucking me up on the spaces thing. At first glance, Diana's, I changed glance for sight because sight is much more literally about actually seeing something. At first glance can be like perceiving through a conversation, something like that. Diana's demeanor might seem indifferent, but in truth, she cares a lot for the Bagons. Cares a lot about is pretty much me translating from Spanish, and yeah, and not being as fluent as I am now in English. Of course, being one herself helps. Well, duh, I don't need this. In a way, her personality I'm being such an asshole to past me. Do not take it personal if you write closer to this sort of like more formal style. Yeah. It's just my style changed a lot, I think. In a way, her personality, and also like I want to make a point on this. I'm actually, look, another instance of the space. I'm actually there's a stylistic thing about the Nibiru Revisited Edition, which is on the one hand, I don't want to change too much of how this is written because I feel this is a sort of like product of its time type of thing. And that is kind of the reason why I named it Revisited and not Second Edition. It's not a total redo of the thing in terms of style of writing. It is a redo of several things that I was like, yeah, I can't live with this. I need to change this. Like the mind system is really bad of the old Nibiru, and I wanted to play with new mechanics, to be honest, so I changed the task resolution stuff and changed several other mechanics, but In terms of style, I wanted to maybe preserve the way I used to write back in the day. If you read Zephyr, Zephyr is so much more colloquial than Nibiru. So I think there's a middle point where I'm like, okay, I want this to remain more or less familiar to how I wrote Nibiru back in the day, but also what the fuck at certain places. Like, I am going to change shit. So yeah, in a way, her personality should contrast to that of Ishaya. Whereas, whereas the latter showed a humble demeanor that could be read as avoiding conflict at all costs. Diana's directness and her always on poker face, always dash on poker face, speaks of the shark tank she inhabits and of the personality traits one develops within certain environments. This is not, this doesn't make sense. Ishaya's personality, in any case, a humble demeanor that could be read humble yet no bullshit approach. Diana's earnesty is draped with a dressed in a drapery of semi-condescending it's not baby talk. It's so what I'm trying to do is I want to paint this thing exactly here, the thing that's like the shark tank, like expressing the shark tank she inhabits. I want to express the whole thing that's like, it's like a passive aggressiveness. It has hints of passive aggressiveness, but at the same time, she's not mean. She's not a person who has actually been turned all the way into, a bad person. That thus the semi-condescending thing I'm pointing out. Diana's earnesty is draped in passive aggressive in hints of passive aggressive I would love to say something like semi-defensive, but this is too much. Passive aggressive, semi-defensive. What are we even doing at this point? Passive aggressive. Diana's earnesty is draped in hints of passive aggressive. Diana's earnesty is draped in hints. Draped in hues of defensive indirect in the typical trappings of indirect defensive spiel. Am I too pretentious if I write spiel in here? Spiel is actually, does it have a weird symbol in it if I write spiel? It seems like no, it actually isn't, because even if it's loan, even if it's very obviously it's an English word. It's very obviously taken from German, and even if in German it relates more to play. Of course, in English, spiel is sort of like a sort of discourse or a manner of talking or formulating a series of statements. It's okay. It's a bit talking down. Diana's earnesty is draped in the typical trappings of indirect, defensive, corporate spiel. Do I want to say corporate? Because the consortium is she's Umanu, but she's not Silu, and it is the Silu who are corporate. The Umanu are just highbrow. Is it highbrow? Is highbrow high society? I actually don't know what highbrow means, but no. Describes intellectual, sophisticated, or cultured eye. Art, literature, or people. Synonymous with intellectual. As an adjective, it also means elite. Yeah, that is what I want. Highbrow spiel. I like when a series of adjectives end with the final descriptor being a construct with a dash. I think it breaks up the flow of this, because it's like indirect, defensive, highbrow spiel. It's like 1-2 punch type shit. Yeah, that's cool. Diana's earnesty is straight in the typical trappings of indirect, defensive, highbrow spiel. Reflecting on the shark tank she inhabits, and the personality M dash please, and the personality traits that develop within these type of environments. I really like that. I'm very happy with that. These reflect, they're not reflecting twice. I can't repeat the reflect thing. These two offer different, I can't repeat two different takes. I can repeat two, the word two. These two offer different takes on the amnesiac kin and their insertion into Antumbran Into Arku, we're using the actual right term. Into Arku society, I'm drifting into my Japanese pronunciation when saying Arku. Arku society. Try to get the players engaged with role-playing this bit of dialogue, and even if they struggle to sound convincing, give them a bonus to the next roll for their efforts. What the fuck am I trying to say here? Try to get the players engaged with role-playing this bit of dialogue. Why wouldn't they be engaged already? And even if they struggle to sound convincing, give them a bonus to the next roll for their efforts. Now I'm cutting this here. I'm not transcribing that. We're going straight to black text. Next paragraph. Whoever took the helm, space again, took the helm will be persuading Diana whoever took the helm, whoever did the most talking will be persuading Diana of taking part on the plan. Embolden. The outcome of this, however, will not, however, will not influence her decision to participate, but instead, yeah, this is important because you never want to have, you know, there's a whole 3 more scenes that you don't want to throw into the trash because a roll didn't go as planned. Yeah, will not influence her decision to participate. That's good because of what I just said. But instead, the terms, but rather, not instead. Again, English fluency factoring into this rewrite. But rather the terms under which she will ask her service AI to cancel. I don't want to repeat the word will. After asking her service AI to cancel all appointments. This is much more funny. Appointments for the current lapse, for the lapse. She will pace the palace. What was the Billy Woods line? Pace the palace wings, dethrone king. Pace the palace wings, dethrone king. Don't pick up the phone. No. Pace the palace wings, dethrone king. Egyptian caught him, but you can't sleep. Not a wink, not a wink. Billy Woods. Pace the palace wing. You're going to forgive me, but I draw so much inspiration from hip-hop lyrics, and I fucking love Billy Woods, and this scene is reminding me of the classic song Checkpoints by the amazing album that he did with Kenny Siegel. What was the name of the album? Pace the palace wing, dethrone king, jump when the phone ring. Egyptian caught him, but you can't sleep, not a wink, not a wink. You can't blink, not a wink. Dethrone king can't sleep, not a blink, not a blink. Yeah. Pace the palace wing, dethrone king, jump when the phone ring. She will pace the... I would love to make a Billy Woods reference here. She will pace the palace wing. Pace the palace wing. Dethrone king, jump with the phone rings. Egyptian cotton, but she can't sleep, not a wing. Oh, I can't do it. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me, chat. To cancel appointments for labs, she will pace the marbled wing. Dethrone king, jump with the phone rings. She will pace a marble wing. To eventually sit still on a velvet. Oh, can I put a throne in there? Even if I don't get the rhyme structure of the Billy Woods thing, I would love to get a throne in here. A makeshift throne, a throny looking chair, on a throne like seat. Ignoring far off phone rings. Nah, that's not good. But a throne-like seat can do. We can do with that. Sit still on a throne-like seat. Offering the PCs a place in a place on a couch before her. She will open up by saying, and we're doing 3 dots instead of, because we're moving to the next column. Italics, we're flowing the text box. Before anything, first things first, I'm the realist. First things first. What am I doing? Moving from Billy fucking Woods to fucking Azalea Banks. That's a huge drop. We don't wanna drop the ball that bad. First things first. Now I got the shitty song stuck. First things first. I want you to know it's not coming back. I'm assaulted by music. I want you to know that I get focused, Fede, what you are going through. And how hard it is to find a place here. Place in here. Yep, I think that's better. In here. Let's make an emphasis in the fact that they're an Asher and the place a fucking hellhole to try and fit in as a vagabond in here. That's what emphasis does there. Understand that the path I took is different from Eshaya's. She is like considering what I just changed in the story by stating that Eshaya got her partner killed. She is being very measured, which reinforces this aspect of her personality that we cited before. The whole indirect defensive highbrow spiel is different from Eshaya's. I admire his commitment to his ideals, yet I also understand that there's two problems with his method. First of all, he has in the past condemned me for taking the guise of the Silu. Yeah, that's changing. I don't like her numbering the problems, or maybe I do. I don't know. I admire his commitment to his ideals, yet I also understand. She doesn't understand. She knows. Yet I also see two problems with his method. First, this is why I don't want to use first things first. I don't want to repeat this. I don't want to repeat this. Before anything, yeah, that's better. First of all, he has in the past condemned me for taking the guise of the Silu, as if that disqualified me as a worthy ally to our kin. I think that the degree to which we choose to partake in this machine, yeah, I like pointing that out, in this machine, may not be as important as what we do with the privileges it can grant us. Oh, there's a mosquito in here. Ugh. So we do with the privileges it can grant us. Circumstantially, of course. Yet he calls it treason. I call it. I see it as playing the long game. I actually really like this. I really like this monologue. It's calling to the name of the scene, which is the long game. I can't break this paragraph here. I need to shorten this. As if that disqualified me as a worthy ally to our kin. I think that the degree to which we choose to partake in this machine may not be as important as what we do with the privileges it can grant. maybe circumstantially is too much, is such a mouthful. Yet he calls this treason. I'm going to push this down. I see it as playing the long game. She claps, calling in a modded skitterbot. Loaded with krach and a small furnace? I already played Skaven by this point in my life. I should have like known the word sensor. I can make this much cooler. This doesn't read good. Calling in a modded skitterbot. It's hollowed out covers carved into beautiful patterns from which krach smoke belches out. Is belch out, does the verb to belch suggest not just the action of smoke belching out, but the size? Because belching out to me is always like a very large amount of smoke. That's sort of like the image that I get. I'm gonna Google that too. Belch out. Let's see. No, I don't need the translation to Spanish. To allow Cambridge, fuck the AI thing. Yeah, to produce a large amount of substance, such as gases or smoke. Especially when this is unpleasant or harmful. It's the opposite of what I want to depict. This is like a sensor. Carved into beautiful patterns from which krach smoke pours out. Pours out? There has to be a more fancy way of depicting this. She claps, calling in a modded skitterbot. It's no apostrophe there. It's hollowed out. Its covers. They're already like I already stated. They're hollowed out. Its covers carved into beautiful patterns from which krach smoke. I don't want to say seeps, because seeps suggests to me downwards movement, and this is of course rising, from which krach smoke rises. There's got to be a prettier way. Fingers its way out. I'm not writing that. From which krach smoke rises. Rises to envelop from which krach fingers slip, rising to crack. What is the... I need the translation of volutas from Spanish into English. Because I need to suggest something like arms. Smoke in the shape of arms. Volutas, translation English. Get out, Grammarly. The AI overview shit literally is giving me wrong information. LMAO. Volutas. Volutas de humo titila se encuentran. What? There's an actual English word? Volutes. Architectural spirals. It could also be wisps. Wisps or curls when referring to smoke or hair. Wisps. I didn't know wisps. What this thing was translated into. From which krach wisps slip. Rising to embrace. Rising to. Embracing, slip into a warmth embrace. Into a warmth embrace. I'm using into twice. Carve into beautiful patterns from which krach wisps slip. Turning to a warmth, fragrant embrace. The mood. I'm immediately thinking the mood stifles. No, the mood, like I want to transmit the idea that this makes, that this is meant to relax the thing. Because, like, this is the reason why, like, this is like, she's been listening this whole time and asking questions and listening, and she's just dropped the nuke on them. Not the full brunt, because she hasn't mentioned yet that she got her partner was killed, but she's dropping the nuke, and she does this to sort of like lighten the mood. The mood lightens slightly. Yeah. She turns to them and continues. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Secondly, in being stubborn as he is, he's got caught up in the Covenant's sights. It's important for you to know that I'm not coming back. It's important for you to know that this, I'm not repeating that this not only inhabilitates, there has to be a better way to write this. I don't want to write inhabilitate. Not only disables him from aiding our cause. Reason why he's sending you to me. That is not why, madam. You know why he's not going directly to you. It's important for you to know that this not only disables him from... it's important for you to know that this not only makes him unable to... disables him from aiding our cause. I'm not going to add the thing between parentheses. But it also makes him a huge liability for our shared future. For the plan. A plan which, mind you, seems pretty solid to me. Seems pretty sound to me. Okay, so now we gotta do the other drop. Depending on whether or not the vagabonds managed to persuade her, she will add also, if I may add, his last involvement with me happens to have me. Yeah, she's not gonna she's not gonna go do roundabouts on this. His last involvement with us, yeah, had my partner killed. I am certain that's the main reason why you're here instead of him. Yeah, that's right. I like that. For me to partake in this, actually, what if it's this reveal is actually a result of failure to persuade her? That actually would be really cool. That failure gets you the full picture, but at the same time, she's going to ask you to kill him. The hidden information revealed is the reason why she wants him dead. That's actually pretty cool. I really like that. We need to change the structure of this, of course. It's going to say, if the vagabonds failed their, if the player tasked to it failed their persuade roll, she will add. Also, if I may add, no. We are actually plugging the positive result first. That's why. So the positive result is this. That's why for me to partake in this, I'll need you to take him out. Out of town. I really like the comedic thing of this thing. Brava! You know, old Fede. I really like this. I'll need you to take him out. Out of town, that is. Out of the core. Out of Antumbra. Preferably. Or, in the case of failure, oh, thank God, I thought the column was ending. Good, so also if I might add, heal him. That's why for me to partake in this, I'll ask you to do something very hard. I'll have to ask you to do something hard. The truth is the danger he poses to the very future he's seemingly trying to forge is too great. And his track record is, as I just confessed? No, it's not a confession. I've got another confession to make. He killed my partner. And his track record is, as I just revealed, less than ideal. I was gonna say less than stellar, but stellar is too much of a comedy word for her to insert in the context of a conversation about her dead partner. Oh my God, this is going to end again with scene 3 title headlining a column. This is great. I love it. I love it when shit comes together so neatly. The conversation will probably see the PCs arguing about the need for this. It'll be easy for them to empathize with her. Oh, look, there was a different turn to this adventure. I had no idea about this. But this thing, Ashaya's brother was taken by the Covenant and she fears he might be tempted to use them as bargaining chips to free his sibling. It's actually, it fits. It fits very well. It fits very well, and I do know that later on, when they face Ashaya again, while Ashaya will probably not confess to wanting to use them as bargaining chips to free his sibling, I will have him confess that he got Diana's partner killed. The conversation will probably see the PCs arguing about the need for this. Yet they'll find it easy to empathize with Diana, which may result in her revealing an important piece of the story. Ashaya's brother was taken by the Covenant. I am not only emboldening action types, I have emboldened important story details. But I don't think I'm gonna do that here. I've already passed several important details about the whole thing. So let me think. Shaya's brother was taken by the Covenant. Shaya's brother was taken by the Covenant, and she fears he may be tempted to use them as bargaining chips, them and future residents as bargaining chips to free his sibling. Diana will not negotiate this. She'll state that there's no way she'll put the lives of others at risk due to Ashaya's position. Eventually, it's your job as the narrator to see them making a decision. She will state that she won't seek for proof of their deed, but that she will eventually know if they've not dispatched Ashaya. There is a slimmer way of writing this in. Diana will not negotiate this. She will staunchly refuse to put the lives of others at risk, given Ashaya's compromised position. I need to cut this down to get more room here. She claps. Secondly, and being stubborn as he is. Secondly, due to his ways due to his ineptitude. He's got caught in the Covenant sights. It's important for you to know that this not only disables him from aiding our this not only disqualifies him from our cause, him as an aid to our cause, but it also makes him a huge liability for the plan, a plan which, mind you, seems pretty sound to me. Okay, that's good. Depending on whether or not the Bagavans manage to persuade her, she will add, or in the case of failure, also, if I might add, I'm certain that's the main reason why you were here instead of him. That's why for me to partake in this, I'll have to ask you to do something hard. Hard. The truth is, the danger he poses to the very future he's simply trying to forge is too great. And his track record is, as I just revealed, less than ideal. Less than ideal. You're about to kill the guy. Pretty dismal, as far as I'm concerned. The truth is, the danger he poses to the very future he's seemingly trying to forge is too great. And his track record is, as I just revealed, pretty dismal. Yeah, this, to me, this is very tight. I don't know if I can cut too much there. The conversation will see the PCs arguing about, we'll probably see the PCs arguing about the need for this. Yet they'll find it easy to empathize with Diana, which may result in her revealing an important piece of the story. Resulting in her, no, which may, because it's a role, which may result in her revealing an important piece of the story. Piece. Eshia's brother was taken by the Covenant, and she fears he may be tempted to use them and or future residents as bargaining chips. It's implied that it would be partly at least to free his sibling. Diana will not negotiate this. She will staunchly refuse to put the lives of others at risk, given Eshia's compromised position. Eventually, it's your job as the narrator to see them making a decision. It's not your job as the narrator. They will come to a decision. Don't be a condescending dickwad. She will state that she won't seek for proof of their day. She will say she won't seek proof of the deed, but that she will know if they do not carry through. Carry through. But that she will sooner or later know if they do not. If they do not carry through. How do I rephrase this? I can already, I can delete this. I've already made that part of the story. She will say she won't seek proof of the deed, but she will sooner or later know if they do not carry through. If they do not carry through. She will say she won't seek proof of the deed, but that she will sooner or later know. They do not carry through. But will sooner or later. But will sooner or later know if they do not carry through. Yeah, that's fine. I like that. If I zoom out, I might push this up a bit and then switch to see how this looks without the lines. Yep, that works. It doesn't need to align to this because there's a title, there's a scene title there. Cool. That's great. That was scene 2 of Foundations. I hope that was instructive, or that you got something out of it.